you got. Hi. Hi. How's it going? Good.
You reading today?
No, not today.
Why?
You gotta finish your quiz at some point.
You're supposed to do this now.
Not now. You do not have to do it now. Just at some point. Oh, hi.
Hello.
I haven't seen you in person in ages.
Yeah.
How was Florida?
It was awesome.
Yeah. What part of Florida were you
We
in?
went to, felt like as far down as you could possibly get.
Yeah.
We went to, you know where Animal Islands is and all that?
Yeah.
Sarasota.
Yeah. Okay.
This was awesome.
Very
Like,
jealous.
There's actually like sneakily so much to do there.
Oh, yeah.
No lie. Lucky.
I know, right?
Like a little beach town we went to, and it was so cool.
So jealous.
Like, chasing the pictures from it.
Yeah. I did go to the beach over this weekend, but it's our beach. It's not exciting.
Nothing new.
It's nothing new. It's still fun, but nothing
That's
new.
one of the sunsets, sunrises.
Oh my
from
gosh, that's
Flying High. We
beautiful.
went on a sunset cruise.
Oh yeah. Oh wow.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's really
They
nice.
have voices you could go on.
And they went out on the water. We didn't do that though. We were in the aquarium.
Well, that's always fun.
Cool, yeah. The food was actually like really good there. We didn't eat at one bad restaurant.
Nice. That's one of the best parts about traveling is like new restaurants.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going.
It's going.
It was so good.
Oh, I love
I
Italian.
love it.
Hey, Mr. McClellan.
Hi, how's it going?
Doing good. I had the weirdest dream.
Oh yeah?
Well, we'll put this in your head. I was in a court case. It was just nothing but women, and all of them hate my guts for some unknown reason.
Huh. I mean I could speculate, but
What was there an unknown reason?
What?
LeBron?
All I remember in this dream, I called them all a bunch of hypocrites.
oh here
Mm. Okay.
you don't remember like what you had done? No Alexis. James is here in person. Genesis, LeBron, CC.
I say hi. Ask her if she got her stuff back.
Her what? Her stuff back? Genesis, Randall says hi and wants to know if you got your stuff back.
No, not yet.
Not yet. All right, so Alexis is the only person that we don't have either place. Okay. So today we're gonna kind of shift focus a little bit. Like, not really, it's all connected, but we're gonna look at some non-Ethan Frome texts. Like, I kind of want to put this in. I kind of don't. Oh, you know what? I know what I'll do. I know what I'll do. I'll plug this in this way. But then, oh, here comes Alexis. Yay, everybody's here. I love it when we've got a full house. All right, so what I'm gonna do is change my,
It's 11 o'clock.
thank you. Change my Zoom preferences to this camera. There we go. Yeah. And what I actually want to do. Can I do this? No, I want it that way. I'm not actually trying to focus in on you, believe it or not. I'm going to move it. Come on, you piece of garbage. It's, I'm not even touching it. This remote is possessed. Like, I don't press buttons and it just moves. Like, I'm not doing anything right now. What? Wait, is it like a Wii remote where I move it? Because what I want to do is zoom in on this whiteboard. There we go. That'll be good. No, god dang it! I'm not pressing buttons.
You gotta focus on here.
I'm not.
You're gonna take the batteries out.
I'm not doing it. That was you. Okay, this is what I want. I want to focus on the whiteboard. I'm not touching it. I'll move it back later, but okay. So what I want you guys to do is tell me some associations that you have with winter.
You want USB?
Oh, I have your picture like that?
Yeah.
I have it on my computer. So I want you guys to tell me some associations that you have with winter, and I'm going to write them up on this board.
Snow.
What?
Snow.
Snow.
Cold.
Okay, what did you say?
I said heater.
Hypothermia.
Heaters, hypothermia.
Christmas.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's more happy than hypothermia.
The Grinch. You know what?
Is it only a little too late for this?
Well, it's winter, not Christmas. What about you guys, virtually, who has some good associations with Christmas or winter, or bad associations with winter?
Cold is good.
I'll put it on both sides. And if you can't tell, I'm making kind of like a positive association and then a negative association. Like for some people, cold is good. For some people, cold is not good. Cold and flu season.
Blue, the color blue.
Okay. Cold and flu season before I forget.
Drowsiness.
Drowsiness. What else did we do? What'd you say, Ralph? Ooh, hot cocoa. Like cozy things at home. Hot cocoa.
I don't think anybody does.
Cozy things at home.
Literally the whole class doesn't have those things. It makes no sense.
Say like, ooh, no.
Yeah, exactly.
So are we having like primarily positive associations with winter?
Yeah, I would say so.
So funny to me because I just freaking hate winter so much. But those are all good things. I hesitate to put the Grinch on the positive side just because, like, objectively he was bad until the end. But like, it's a fun thing to watch. So
Hey, am I the only one, or I just can't see Jack squat?
what?
I can't see Jack squat on the board. All I can see is show or snow.
Let me write it with a black marker and see if you can see this.
There we go. I can see something.
Okay. Can you read that?
Yep. Holiday mouse.
Movies.
Movies. Ooh, sorry. I cannot.
Hot chocolate.
It's a holiday mouse. I got that. I got it. Cocoa. All right, I'm just gonna go back over them in black. Snow. Eaters. Christmas. I guess the Grinch can also go with Christmas because I kind of want to be like Christmas music, Christmas presents. Christmas is the only part of winter I like. Cozy things. At home.
Miss McClellan, can you move your camera over?
Say it again?
Can you move your camera over? It's not showing the board anymore.
I will, yeah. I can't promise it's gonna stay.
Yeah. I stopped playing it after like 2 hours. Oh, it's done pretty good. Oh, like, you don't know, yeah, yeah, shit.
It's so, like, my camera is haunted, is the thing. There's no other way to say it. My camera is haunted. Hopefully you can read that a little bit better. Any other things, any other positive or negative associations we can think of with winter?
The Polar Express. It's doing again. It's what? Oh, hold up. Oh, it's doing a little dance. Okay. Oh, it stayed. Okay.
I put being bundled up in clothes. Anything else without getting too deeply into like Christmas movies or Christmas songs or anything like that? I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. So strange.
Snowman.
Snowman. That's good.
Calling out roasty. Wasn't run to the snowman's house?
Okay. Good. That doesn't move. Okay. Sometimes I'm like, what actually moves? I get confused. Okay, we can see those. What we're going to do today is look at a couple of poems about winter. So we've kind of already got this in our frame of mind, and it seems like we have more positive associations with winter than negative ones, which is really interesting because number one, like I don't like winter at all. I'm a summer girl. But also in Ethan Frome, I feel like the winter is almost like a minor antagonist of the book because, I mean, it says in the beginning he spent one too many winters in Starkfield, and just like having to deal with this cold weather and the snow all the time really puts a damper on what people want to do and what people are able to do. So it's interesting that we have all these positive associations. Okay, so we are going to go to Canvas, and there is an assignment called Winter Poem Analysis. And the first thing we're going to do is read these two poems together. I'm just going to open it up on my little thing here. Actually, give me one quick sec. I will share my screen with y'all in just a moment. Where's this thing I need? Here we go. No, that's not it. That is our Ethan Frome thing from last week. Well, where on earth? That's not the one. This is the one. Okay. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. See, it even moved to, like, I don't know what the deal is with it. Okay. So the first one we're going to look at is called The Snowman by Wallace Stevens. And just as a little disclaimer, these are both American poems, which fit in very nicely with the fact that this is American literature. I didn't plan it that way, but convenient. The Snowman by Wallace Stevens. Would anyone like to read it?
Me.
Okie doke.
I call dibs on the second one.
Okay.
Wait, is it what's the other one though? I want to know what that one is.
What?
What's the other winter poem?
The other one is a Robert Frost poem. It's right below this one. It's called Desert Places.
No, I want to read that one. That one's my favorite Robert Frost poem.
Okay, great.
Ron, you want to read this one then?
Sure.
Okay.
The Snowman. Hold up. All right. Now this is much better. The Snowman. One must have a mind of winter to regard the frost and the
Boughs.
ballast of the pine tree crushed within snow, and have been cold. Have been cold a long time to behold the
Junipers.
shagged with eyes. These
Spruces.
spruce root in the distant glitter. On the January sun, and not to think of any misery in the sound of the wind, in the sound of a few leaves, which is the sound of the land full of the same wind that is blowing in the same bare place. For the listener who listens in the snow and nothing himself beholds, nothing that is not there and nothing that is.
Good. Okay. So would y'all say this is more of a positive tone or a negative tone?
Actually, it's neither to me.
It's neither. Okay. How come? What do you think it is?
I think it's a lesson.
Okay. What's the lesson? Like if you think it's a lesson, what's the message it's trying to get across?
I think he's trying to say, like, try to stay calm.
Okay.
Like the first, wait, what do you call this? A stanza, line,
Stanzas, yeah.
stanza. Like the first word, the first thing he wrote was, one must have a mind of winter to regard the frost and spots of the pines crushed with snow, which I read that completely wrong. Yeah, really hard to say. I gotta go through this again, but for me, it's just a lesson.
Okay. What is some of the others of you think? Like if there's a lesson, what is the lesson? What's the message of this poem?
Anyone else?
Sorry, I'm going over again. Hold on.
One interesting thing about this is that the whole thing is just one long sentence. Not a run-on sentence. It is correctly written, but it's just really long.
I think it's I don't think it really has a tone either.
Okay.
I think that it is kind of saying you have to keep your eyes and ears open.
Okay.
Just because there's going to be change.
Mm-hmm.
And just because one thing is happening doesn't mean another thing can't happen, I guess.
Okay. I think you're on the right track here. I think one thing, if we kind of take out a lot of it and just look at the main parts of the sentence, it's like one must have a mind of winter and have been cold a long time to look at these trees and like look at all this cold stuff and not think about how miserable it is, and to not dwell on the bad stuff about winter. And then in the last stanza, for the listener who listens in the snow, and nothing himself beholds nothing that is not there, and the nothing that is, which is a weird little turn of phrase there, but kind of saying that if you are used to winter, then you can take in a lot more about it. You're not so focused on the immediate, like, harsh nature of winter, but you can absorb all the stuff about it, the good stuff and the bad stuff. And it's also kind of interesting that it says nothing himself. Like if this person sort of becomes nothing or like accepts how unimportant he is, he can absorb everything about the winter, the good stuff and the bad stuff. So I will say, I think it's hard to say that it doesn't have a tone because everything has some sort of tone, but I think it is kind of hard to pinpoint what the tone of this is. Like it's almost sort of nostalgic because it's like looking back. I feel like it's from the point of view of someone who knows what they're talking about, has been through so many winters, that they can kind of speak to what it's like. But I think this is a good poem for Ethan Frome, actually, because Ethan Frome is someone, and everybody in Starkfield really, who has a mind of winter and has been cold a long time and should be able to see these nice things about winter. And instead, he's just sort of like snowed under himself and like bogged down with everything. All right, let's read the second poem, Desert Places by Robert Frost. And Cece said she would read this one.
Snow falling and night falling fast, oh fast. In a field I look into going past, and the ground almost covered smooth in snow, but a few weeds and stumbles showing last. The woods around it is theirs. All animals are smothered in their lairs. I am too absent-spirited to count. The loneliness includes me unawares. And lonely as it is, that loneliness will be more lonely ere it will be less. A blanker whiteness of benighted snow, with no expression, nothing to express. They cannot scare me with their empty spaces between stars, on stars where no human race is. I have it in me so much nearer home to scare myself with my own desert places.
I like that poem a lot too. What is this poem about?
I remember reading this poem in 5th grade and having to answer this exact same question. And I cannot remember. I think it's I think it's explaining how he feels obviously the loneliness the same way that winter does, with feeling kind of cold and alone.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you get that especially in the last 2 stanzas, because he's essentially saying that like winter is so lonely and just like blank, and it's going to get worse before it gets better, because there's going to be no more snow and you're going to be more blanketed under with all this snow, and you're not going to feel better until it like lets up, until the seasons change. But as depressing a thought as that is, he's like, that doesn't really affect me. They can't scare me with their empty spaces, because I have it in me so much nearer home to scare myself with my own desert places. Whatever's inside me is worse and more lonely than what is going to be affected by the environment, which is like really kind of sad. And I think this poem is interesting because I feel like the first half is almost like more positive, like it's kind of looking at the loveliness of winter, like snow falling and the ground covered smooth in snow and all the animals sleeping in their little lairs. But he's not really seeing that as a positive thing. He's like, that's all lonely and depressing, and that loneliness includes me. And I also like that this is just like a little tidbit. This is not really about what the poem is about, but I like that it says the loneliness includes me unawares, because it kind of personifies loneliness. Like loneliness isn't aware that I'm a part of this big loneliness, but I am. Okay, so we're going to actually this is your assignment for today. We're going to read these poems really closely, and you can kind of spend some time with them on your own. And this is not due until tomorrow night, so you've got more than just the class time here, because I know that poems in particular really do sometimes take some more critical thinking. Poetry is not everybody's favorite thing, and that's okay. It's not even my favorite thing, but I do like it. So with the first one, the Snowman, you're going to answer 4 questions. The first one, you're just going to find words or phrases from the poem that depict winter in a positive light, which is one reason that we did the first thing. Actually, let me, I'm just going to, look at that. Look at that. Why is it moving? Why is it moving right now? What am I doing? Like, am I doing something to it? That is wild. I don't get it. I'm gonna switch it. So now it's just me. There we go. One reason that we did that first thing with putting the associations on the board is to kind of help get you guys thinking about this. What's a positive association? What words are going to depict winter in a negative light? And what associations do we make with the words about winter when we see them? And then you're going to do the same thing with all the negative words. The third question, you're going to look back at the final stanza of the poem and pay specific attention to the repetition of the word nothing. What do you think that stanza means? And we talked a little bit about what it might mean. And what do you think the final line of the poem means? That's going to take some critical thinking on y'all's part. And then in general, does this seem to be a positive or negative depiction of winter? And you're going to explain why. So for the second poem, it's pretty much the exact same thing, the same 4 questions. You're going to find words or phrases from the poem that depict winter in a positive light. What do those words suggest about winter? What associations do we make with these words? Same thing for negative. You're gonna look back at the final stanza and say what you think it means, what the final line means, and then does it seem to be a positive or negative depiction of winter? And then the last two questions, you're going to describe any similarities and differences between the poems. And it's not like a specific number of similarities and differences you have to have, but I would say try to find at least 2 things in common and at least 2 things different. You might have a much longer list. And then the last question, compare and contrast the description of winter in the poems with the portrayal of winter at the beginning of Ethan Frome. So this is not just, you know, this fun, different poetry thing we're doing today. It really does connect back to the book. And you know, I've said before, I feel like winter is almost a character in the book because it really affects everything so much. So just to kind of help you guys out as you get started, let's look back through both of the poems and just pick out what words are associated with winter. You might disagree if you think it's like a positive or negative association. Like we put cold under both columns on the board because some people love the cold and some people hate it. So you might not completely disagree, or you might not completely agree with each other. But let's look back at the snowman for a minute here. In this first stanza, what are the winter words here? Obviously, there's winter.
Snow.
Snow, yep.
Ice. Ice.
Ice.
Mm-hmm.
Where is ice?
Second.
Oh, okay. I got it. Is that in this one? No. Frost also in the first one. Frost is definitely winter. Yes, it is. We could probably include glitter because it's, yep. Like the sun plus the snow is gonna make a glitter. There's several wind things in here. Like it mentions the wind, and I feel like some of the words associated with it might also apply. Snow again. So that kind of helps you out that you have to decide on your own if you think that those are positive words or negative words. And let's take a look at desert places. What are some winter words in here? Snow.
Snow.
Yep.
Whiteness.
Whiteness. Mm-hmm. A blanker whiteness, yes. So I think you could argue that those are the only words in this poem that are directly about winter, but some of you may think some of the other words in it, you can sort of associate those with winter. Like you might say that loneliness is a winter word, and that's okay if you think that. Empty, that could be one. So it's kind of up to you. So let's see. First bonus room. So we've got about 20 minutes left. So you guys can definitely get a big head start on this and maybe even finish most of it. Those of you who are virtual, if you want to leave and work on this independently, you can. If you prefer to stay so that you can ask questions or, you know, run ideas past me or past each other, then that's totally fine too. But I will go ahead and stop my video and mute myself, and y'all can let me know if you need me.
Bye.
Bye. I'm just restarting my camera so I can fool around with this camera for a minute. Around with this camera for a minute. Okay, Cece, there's the bell. See you tomorrow.